Okay, people, welcome back to another one of my videos on Alice programming. The objective of this video is to teach you how to create methods to allow for camera tracking to effectively follow the movement of a character or object. So if we're starting to create a video game here where we have a zombie that wanders around randomly. We have user control from some event handling methods that we've created for our skeleton. And now what we want to do is we want to follow the skeleton with the camera. So if I select the camera in the upper left-hand corner of the object tree and create a new method, we're going to call it tracking. So this tracking method is going to be an event handling method, and I'm going to create the event right here. So when a key is, not when the key is typed, actually when the world starts, so when the world starts, it will always do this camera tracking. Now the camera tracking is something that I'm going to want to happen continuously, so I'm going to bring in an infinity loop, and basically all I really want the camera to do, if you think about it, is to point at my skeleton. I'm going to point at the skeleton. I'm going to choose to point at the head, for reasons I'll explain later. So let's see if this works. When I hit play, looks like we're pointing at the skeleton's head, and everything is good. So my skeleton can effectively follow the action, or not. So what's wrong with this camera tracking? Well, clearly, when the skeleton moves far away, and if he's chasing after the zombie that's wandering around randomly, then we're not effectively following the action. So instead, what we also wanted to do, all right, instead of just pointing at, we want the camera to also move. Now we could do move toward the skeleton. We could also move forward, and we can set it for, let's say, for 1 meter. Let's have it do this repeatedly in the loop and simultaneously. So now let's see what happens. So here we go. I know we're moving forward. I'm not even moving him. So what apparently is wrong with this camera tracking now? Well, clearly we keep on getting closer and closer, and eventually now the camera tracking seems to be having a problem. So we don't want the camera to always move toward the skeleton. We only want the camera to move towards the skeleton when it's far away. And then we want to stop some convenient distance. So if we bring in this conditional, this if-else conditional, we'll just set the condition to be true. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to set this condition um, a little bit different. Okay. So essentially, if right now this is always going to happen, the camera is always going to point at and move forward toward the skeleton. But we can stop that by using a proximity function. And so in other words, if we decide to place this threshold in, all right, and if it's at least 5 meters away from the skeleton, then it will point at the skeleton and move forward. And now so the statement now reads, if the camera is at least 10 meters away from the skeleton, it'll point at the skeleton and move forward. If it's not at least 10 meters away, that means it's close. So then it'll simply point at the skeleton. So it'll stop at 10, it should stop at a distance of 10 meters away. Now 10 meters is pretty far. Maybe we'll make that 5 meters. Let's see how this works. So you can see that the camera is moving in towards the skeleton. I'm going to move the skeleton closer to the camera so it happens a little bit more quickly. And oh, it stopped at some distance away. So now let's see what happens when the skeleton starts to move away from the camera. Oh, and the camera is following after the skeleton. So now what we have is we have a situation where, oh, we can actually pursue our zombie, and the camera helps us to do that.